I wish someone had told me this years ago. It would have saved me heartbreak, confusion, and wasted effort. Every man needs to hear this truth about women before it's too late. Because once you understand it, everything changes. The way she looks at you, the way she respects you, and the way she loves you. Today, I'm going to share what most men never realize. But once you do, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. Many men grow up believing that women are impressed by money, status, and material possessions. They think if they can buy her expensive gifts, take her to luxurious dinners, or showcase their financial strength, she will stay. And while those things can capture attention for a moment, they do not sustain connection. What most men never realize until it's too late is that women crave something deeper than material comfort. They crave emotional presence. A woman would rather have a man who looks into her eyes and makes her feel truly heard than one who hands her diamonds without giving her his time. Money may create convenience, but emotional connection creates fulfillment. Without that presence, she feels invisible no matter how much she has. Emotional presence means more than just being physically around her. It's about showing up with your full attention, your full energy, and your full mind when she is with you. Too many men sit with a woman while scrolling their phone, nodding without listening, or half-heartedly engaging in conversation. That kind of presence is absence in disguise. What women long for is the man who shuts out distractions, looks at her like she matters, and engages as if she is the most important person in that moment. This doesn't cost money, but it costs awareness and effort. And ironically, this simple act of being truly present is what makes a woman feel richer than any luxury lifestyle could ever provide. When a man is emotionally present, a woman feels safe to express herself. She feels she can open up her thoughts, her fears, her desires without being judged or dismissed. That safety is priceless. A gift can decorate her life for a while, but it cannot replace the sense of security that comes from being understood. Too many men underestimate this because they are taught to provide materially but not emotionally. They know how to earn money, but they don't know how to give presents. Yet for a woman, the ability to feel deeply connected to her partner is what gives her energy, passion, and commitment. Emotional absence, even in a wealthy lifestyle, leaves her starving for intimacy. Women are naturally emotional beings, but this doesn't mean they are weak or irrational. It means they connect through feelings, through energy, through the unspoken bond between two souls. When a man is emotionally available, she doesn't just hear his words, she feels his sincerity. She doesn't just notice his actions, she senses his intentions. That creates a powerful attraction that no amount of material display can compete with. A man who can sit with her, listen with patience, and validate her emotions without rushing to fix, everything becomes invaluable to her. His presence becomes her anchor, something she leans on even in chaos. Emotional presence also means being consistent in how you show up. Women notice the small details, whether you remember what she told you yesterday, whether you check in when she's quiet, whether you can sense when her mood has shifted. It's not about grand gestures, it's about awareness. A man who notices the subtle shifts in her emotions and responds with care shows that he is truly present with her. That consistency is what makes her trust him more than any luxury ever could. Trust, after all, is built in the little daily interactions, not in the occasional extravagant surprise. There is a reason why many women leave men who can provide everything materially but still feel emotionally empty. Because at the end of the day, security is not just about money, It is about emotional stability. Women do not want to be with a man who only offers a house. They want to be with a man who makes that house feel like home. And home is not built with bricks, it is built with presence, warmth, and understanding. Emotional presence tells a woman, you matter, you are valued, you are seen. And that is something no material possession can ever replace. Many men make the mistake of thinking that attraction is built on charm, looks, or how much attention they can shower on a woman. They assume that if they are funny enough, romantic enough, or physically appealing, a woman will remain interested. But what they fail to recognize is that none of these qualities can survive if respect is missing. Respect is not just an accessory in a relationship. It is the foundation upon which attraction stands. Without respect, love collapses, chemistry fades, and loyalty dies. A woman can be impressed by your confidence, drawn to your ambition, or even captivated by your appearance. But if she feels disrespected, her attraction will begin to evaporate immediately. Respect is what tells her that you value her as a human being, not just as someone who can fulfill your desires. Respect is not about agreeing with everything she says or placing her on a pedestal. It is about recognizing her individuality, her voice, and her boundaries. When a man speaks to a woman without listening, when he dismisses her opinions, when he makes her feel small, he unknowingly erodes the very attraction he's trying to build. A woman does not want to feel dominated, belittled, or disregarded. What she seeks is a man who sees her strength without being threatened, who acknowledges her worth without comparison, and who treats her as a partner rather than a possession. This type of respect does not weaken a man's power, it amplifies it because it shows he is secure enough to honor another without losing himself. A woman notices respect in the smallest gestures, the way you listen when she speaks, the way you keep your promises, the way you handle disagreements. All of these moments are tests of character. Disrespect doesn't always come in obvious forms like insults or aggression. Sometimes it shows up in subtle neglect. Ignoring her feelings, laughing at her vulnerabilities, or constantly prioritizing your own needs over hers communicates that she does not matter, and nothing kills attraction faster than the sense of being unvalued. On the other hand, when a man holds space for her thoughts, remembers what she shares, and treats her emotions with seriousness, she feels elevated in his presence. That respect transforms the relationship into something magnetic and lasting. Attraction rooted in respect is deeper than physical desire. It creates an emotional bond that cannot be shaken easily. Physical attraction may draw her attention, but respect is what keeps her invested. Even in conflict, respect prevents the relationship from turning toxic. A man who can disagree without demeaning, who can argue without attacking, and who can stand his ground without breaking hers builds trust. That trust keeps attraction alive even during difficult times. Without respect, arguments become wars, differences turn into resentments, and closeness becomes impossible. A woman will never remain with a man who constantly undermines her dignity, no matter how charming he once appeared. Respect also goes hand in hand with how a man respects himself. A man who allows others to walk over him, who lacks self boundaries, or who disrespects his own goals, will struggle to command respect from a woman. She cannot admire someone who does not admire himself. Self respect is the mirror that reflects into every relationship. When a man has standards for himself, when he carries himself with integrity, when he demands respect through his actions rather than his words, a woman feels it. She is drawn not just to his presence, but to his principles. That type of respect makes her proud to stand beside him because she knows she is with someone who values not only her, but himself as well. What many men fail to understand is that attraction without respect is fragile and temporary. You can make her laugh, you can make her feel butterflies, but if you humiliate her in public, if you dismiss her struggles, or if you cross her boundaries, you destroy the very core of her love for you. Respect is not a performance, it is a consistent way of treating someone with value. And once a woman realizes that a man truly respects her, not just when it's convenient, not just when he wants something, but consistently, she feels a type of attraction that runs deeper than excitement, an attraction that anchors her loyalty and strengthens her connection in ways that surface level charm never could. One of the biggest frustrations men express in relationships is the idea that women test them. They say things like, "Why does she always push my buttons?" Or, "Why does she start unnecessary arguments?" They view these moments as signs of disrespect or games. What they don't realize is that testing is not meant to destroy the relationship. It is meant to reveal the man's strength. A woman doesn't test you to break you down. She tests you to see if you can be trusted, if you are steady when she is not, if you can remain grounded when the world feels chaotic. Her tests are not about manipulation, they are about reassurance. She wants to know whether you are the kind of man she can lean on when life tests both of you in far bigger ways. When a woman challenges you, it is often unconscious. She doesn't wake up thinking, "I'll test him today." Instead, her emotions naturally seek proof of your stability. She might question your decisions, not because she wants to undermine you, but because she wants to see if you are confident in your choices. She may get moody or withdraw, not because she wants to punish you, but because she wants to see if you notice and care enough to respond. She may even start an argument, not because she enjoys conflict, but because she wants to see if you can handle tension without losing control. These are not games. They are ways of checking if your words align with your actions, if your promises mean anything, if your strength is real or just an illusion. Men who misunderstand these tests often react poorly. They either become defensive and lash out, or they crumble and try to overplease her just to escape the discomfort. Both reactions make her lose trust. Anger makes her feel unsafe, and weakness makes her feel unsupported. What she is searching for is neither aggression nor submission. She is looking for calm leadership. She wants to know that when she is emotional, you can remain steady. She wants to know that when she doubts, you can reassure without begging. She wants to know that when she pushes, you don't collapse under pressure, but hold your ground with quiet confidence. Passing her tests doesn't mean defeating her. It means showing her that you are strong enough to carry the weight of her trust. Every woman instinctively desires a man she can trust with her heart and her future. She may love you, she may be attracted to you, but if she cannot trust you, she will never fully give herself to you. Her tests are her way of confirming that trust. She notices how you react when things don't go your way. She pays attention to how you treat her when you're frustrated. She evaluates whether you keep your word when it's inconvenient. These little moments are not trivial. They are her measuring stick for your reliability. If you fail them repeatedly, her attraction will fade no matter how charming or successful you appear. But if you pass them by remaining calm, consistent, and unwavering, her loyalty will deepen in ways you cannot imagine. What makes these tests so powerful is that they are often invisible to men who are not paying attention. A simple delay in response, a sarcastic comment, a shift in her tone, all of these can be subtle tests. She wants to see if you notice, if you care, if you stand strong without being dismissive. Too many men label women as complicated, when in reality they are simply searching for proof. A woman gives her deepest love to the man who shows, not through words alone, but through action and presence, that he is unshakable. Her tests are not traps. They are invitations for you to prove your strength in ways that words alone could never do. Confidence is one of the most magnetic qualities a man can possess, yet it is also one of the most misunderstood. Too many men confuse confidence with arrogance, or they think it is about being loud, dominant, or constantly proving themselves. But true confidence is quiet, steady, and undeniable. It doesn't scream for attention, it naturally commands it. A man who is confident does not need to chase approval because he carries within himself a sense of certainty that others can feel. And for women, that certainty is irresistible. She doesn't fall for the man who talks the loudest or boasts the most. She falls for the man who knows who he is, even in silence. Women are highly intuitive when it comes to sensing energy. A man may say all the right words, but if his tone wavers, if his body language reveals insecurity, if his eyes avoid hers, she feels it immediately. Confidence is not in the words you speak, it's in the way you carry yourself. It's in your posture, your composure, your ability to remain calm under pressure. It's in how you make decisions without hesitation, how you own your choices without over explaining, how you walk into a room without needing everyone's attention, but still capturing it. Women don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be sure of yourself. That assurance makes them feel safe, valued, and drawn to your presence without effort. The opposite of confidence is not shyness, it is insecurity. Insecurity makes a man needy, desperate, and constantly seeking validation. He texts too much. He explains too much. He asks too often if she loves him, if she's happy, if he's doing enough. At first, she may reassure him, but over time, this behavior drains her attraction. A woman does not want to feel like a caretaker to a man's self esteem. She wants to feel like a partner to his strength. Confidence frees her from that burden. When a man is confident, she doesn't need to constantly reassure him because his worth is not dependent on her validation. Instead, she can relax into the relationship, knowing she is with someone who is secure in himself. True confidence is also about how you handle setbacks. Every man faces rejection, failure, or disappointment, but the way you respond defines how she sees you. An insecure man crumbles, blames others, or seeks pity, but a confident man accepts the lesson, adjusts, and moves forward without bitterness. That resilience is incredibly attractive because it shows her that you can handle life's challenges without falling apart. She knows that if you can stand firm in your own storms, you can stand firm in hers. Confidence gives her the reassurance that no matter what happens, you will not collapse under pressure. That kind of certainty builds trust faster than any sweet words or romantic gestures ever could. Confidence is not about trying to impress women, it's about living with purpose and direction. A man with goals, who takes initiative, who moves with intention, radiates a natural authority. He doesn't need to brag about what he's doing because his actions speak for themselves. Women are drawn to men who know where they are going because it makes them feel like they can be part of something bigger than just day-to-day survival. A man without direction leaves her feeling unsafe, but a man with vision makes her feel inspired. Confidence is that quiet flame that lights the path forward, giving her reason to trust and admire him on a deeper level. A confident man does not compete with others because he knows his value. He doesn't need to tear others down or constantly compare himself because he trusts his own lane. This self-assurance makes him stand out in any crowd. Women notice it instantly because confidence cannot be faked. It comes through in the way you look at people directly, in the way you speak without rushing, in the way you don't fold when challenged. And the beauty of confidence is that it creates attraction without effort. It makes her lean toward you, curious about your strength, intrigued by your certainty, and eager to be part of the world you carry within you. Every relationship rises or falls on the strength of its communication. Men often underestimate this because they assume women want solutions, quick fixes, or logical reasoning every time they speak. But what women truly want is connection, and connection comes through communication. It is not just about the words exchanged, it is about the energy behind those words, the tone, the presence, and the willingness to truly understand. A woman does not feel close to a man simply because he provides for her or stands beside her physically. She feels close when he communicates in a way that makes her feel seen, heard, and valued. Communication is not about talking more, it's about creating a bridge between two hearts. And that bridge is what sustains intimacy over the long term. For many men, silence feels safe while communication feels unnecessary. They believe that if there are no problems, there is no need to talk. But to a woman, silence often translates as distance. She reads into the absence of words, and her mind begins to question the bond. A man may think he is keeping the peace by staying quiet, but to her, that quietness feels like disconnection. Communication does not always have to be about solving problems or making big declarations. Sometimes it is as simple as checking in, asking how she feels, or showing curiosity about her world. These little gestures of communication tell her that she matters, that her presence is important, and that her emotions are acknowledged. The power of communication lies in listening, not in speaking. Women open up when they feel heard, and they shut down when they feel dismissed. A man who interrupts, who rushes to give advice, or who minimizes her feelings makes her feel small. Over time, this erodes attraction and trust. But a man who listens with patience, who validates what she feels without judgment, and who gives her the space to express herself fully, becomes irreplaceable in her eyes. Listening is not passive, it is an active form of communication that tells her, "You matter enough for me to give you my full attention." That kind of listening builds a connection that goes beyond words because it makes her feel safe to reveal her truest self. Communication also means honesty. Many men hide their struggles, fears, and even their dreams because they believe vulnerability makes them weak. But in reality, it is the opposite. When you open up and share your inner world with a woman, you invite her into a deeper level of intimacy. Vulnerability, when shared with strength, does not push her away, it draws her closer. She does not want perfection. She wants authenticity. When you communicate your thoughts, your vision, and even your doubts with honesty, you create a relationship built on truth rather than pretense. And when she sees that you can be real with her, she feels safe enough to be real with you. Conflict is another area where communication defines connection. Disagreements are inevitable in any relationship, but the way they are handled determines whether the bond strengthens or weakens. A man who shuts down or explodes during conflict communicates avoidance or aggression, both of which damage trust. But a man who stays calm, expresses himself clearly, and seeks resolution rather than victory shows emotional maturity. Women respect men who can communicate through conflict without losing control because it shows them that the relationship is more important than the ego. This type of communication not only resolves issues but deepens intimacy because it proves that even in difficult moments, the connection can remain intact. The essence of communication is not perfection in words, but consistency in effort. Women don't expect flawless speeches or poetic expressions every day. They expect consistency in showing up, in checking in keeping the emotional bridge alive. When a man understands that communication is not just talking, but connecting, he transforms the way she experiences the relationship. She no longer feels like she is with someone who tolerates her presence. She feels like she is with someone who values her soul. That shift creates a magnetic attraction that no amount of silence, no matter how peaceful it feels to him, could ever replace. Leadership is one of the purest expressions of masculine energy, and it is something women instinctively look for in a man. This doesn't mean control, dominance, or authority that silences her voice. It means direction, clarity, and initiative that allow her to feel safe, supported, and free to embrace her feminine energy. A relationship without leadership often feels like a ship without a captain, drifting aimlessly without purpose. A woman may enjoy the ride for a while, but eventually she begins to feel unsafe, uncertain, and disconnected. She needs to know that the man she is with can take responsibility, make decisions, and guide the relationship toward growth rather than stagnation. Leadership in this sense is not about taking away her power. It is about creating an environment where both partners can thrive in their natural roles. True masculine leadership begins with responsibility. A man who avoids accountability, who blames circumstances, or who refuses to take initiative leaves a woman feeling unprotected. She may admire his qualities, but she cannot fully trust him. Leadership means stepping into situations with a mindset of ownership, showing that you are capable of carrying weight without crumbling. This doesn't mean you must have all the answers, but it does mean you are willing to find them. When a woman sees that you take responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and even your mistakes, she relaxes into her feminine energy because she knows she doesn't have to carry everything alone. That relaxation is what allows her to respect and trust you more deeply. Masculine leadership also shows up in decision making. Women do not want men who control every choice, but they also do not want men who are indecisive, passive, or constantly relying on them to lead. Indecision communicates weakness, and weakness breeds frustration. When you take initiative, whether it's planning a date, choosing a direction for your lives together, or solving a problem with calm confidence, you show her that you can lead without hesitation. That decisiveness makes her feel secure because she knows that when life becomes unpredictable, you will not fold under pressure. Leadership is not about forcing your way, but about confidently guiding while still considering her needs and feelings. That balance is what creates harmony between masculine and feminine energy. Another aspect of leadership is emotional steadiness. A man who loses control of his emotions, who reacts impulsively, or who becomes overwhelmed by challenges cannot be relied on. Leadership requires stability, the ability to stay calm when things are chaotic, to think clearly when emotions run high, and to provide reassurance when she feels uncertain. A woman naturally looks to her partner to anchor her in moments of turbulence. If she finds steadiness in you, she feels safe to be vulnerable. If she finds instability, she withdraws her trust. Emotional leadership does not mean suppressing your feelings. It means mastering them in a way that gives her confidence in your strength. Leadership in relationships also involves vision. A man without a sense of purpose, without goals, without direction, leaves the relationship floating in uncertainty. A woman may love him, but she will not feel inspired by him. Masculine leadership is about having a vision for your life and inviting her to be part of that journey. It could be in your career, your personal growth, or the family you want to build together. When you have clarity of vision, she feels secure in following your lead because she knows you are moving towards something meaningful. That sense of purpose makes her respect you, admire you, and trust you to guide the relationship into the future. Ultimately, leadership in relationships is not about superiority, but about balance. Feminine energy flourishes when masculine energy leads with strength, clarity, and direction. A woman feels most free, most feminine, and most alive when she can trust her partner's leadership. She doesn't want to be controlled. She wants to be guided. She doesn't want to be silenced. She wants to be heard while being led. And she doesn't want to carry all the responsibility. She wants to share it with a man who can shoulder the weight with confidence and certainty. At the end of the day, men, relationships are not as complicated as they seem. Women are not searching for perfection. They are searching for presence, respect, confidence, communication, trust, and leadership. These are not luxuries. These are fundamentals. If you can embody these qualities, you stop chasing validation and start commanding it naturally. You stop wondering what women want, and you start becoming the man who inspires devotion without asking for it. Because here's the truth. Love without respect will collapse. Attraction without trust will fade. And connection without leadership will drift into nothing. But when you step into your masculine energy with clarity, consistency, and emotional strength, everything changes. Women stop testing your worth because they already feel it. They stop questioning your place in their lives because your presence speaks louder than any words. And the relationship that once felt confusing becomes simple because she finally sees in you the man she can follow, respect, and love fully.